Well, I've been in Queensland and whatnot, and I haven't been very active with the association. Haven't told anybody much about what I've done in the war, during the wartime. Haven't talked about it. It used to trouble me, so I just put it in the back of my mind, and I got onto life in a different world entirely we lived in. I get the flashbacks occasionally, like meetings and talking to these people, and I've kept in touch with some of my close mates. They're nearly all gone now, of course. So I don't have any real stories. In Syria, in Lebanon, right on the site where Ronald Cutler was wounded. You remember him? He lost a leg. Yeah. And it was just right on the very side at the time too. I saw him carried out. And so we had a bit of time off from our signalling, my mate and I, and we made our way up the road a little bit to a tank. And it would be hit a landmine. And we had to look in it and whatnot. And I think my mate even got in and I think he moved the wheels to see whether it would start or not. And so we left it and walked away a bit, and some other people coming along, other soldiers came along, did the same thing roughly as we did and blew up another mine. So that was a tragedy. And the name of the tank, French tank, was Vendredi le 13, Friday the 13th. And so that's what George was referring to. I used to always call it Black Friday because ships wouldn't sail on Black Friday in the olden days, Friday the 13th. Yeah. Oh, well, in that area, by the way, I was a signal. We used to do our shift duties, and sometimes we get time off, we get relieved. And we'd do other jobs as well. I had a French machine gun set up, and I used to go with the anti-aircraft platoon, and I had my own anti-aircraft gun. And we also had my mate and I had a little cannon, anti-tank gun. We got that. We aimed it up along the road for the tanks in case the tanks came. And there was a little tunnel under the roadway. We thought we'd duck in under there if they actually started firing at us. But and no tanks came at the time. But around about that time, one of my other mates had a carrier. He was a carrier driver, and they had the gunner and the driver. And the tank, one of the French tanks fired at him, and the shell went right, and it came through the armour plate. He went through between them and exploded in the back. Killed him. Look, when we were early in the area, we went over to Bethlehem and Jerusalem anyway, and we were given leave, and the Red Caps, the British military police, thought they owned the world, and they used to belt their own blokes up and treat them pretty horribly. They thought they could do the same with us. And so on the leave, one of the mornings there, they had one of our friends, Lou Lethlean, and two of them were holding him, another one was belting him. And he was a pretty strong bloke, he could handle himself fairly well. Anyway, 2 or 3 of us went up and helped sort the policeman out, and they were quite happy to let him go by the time we were finished. And but they went then. The Red Caps went around and rounded up the drinking Aussies who'd been drinking in the cafes and whatnot, and cart them back to a sort of a prison they had. So the word got around pretty quickly, and so we were all gathered in front of this place, and we intended on, we said, let our friends out or you'll be in trouble. And as a matter of fact, one of our champion boxer stood at the gate and he said, anyone who tries to go through here, I'll knock them over. So one of our own mates saved us from going in and getting in real trouble. But we said, right, but we'll be back. We're going home, we'll be back, and this time we'll be armed. And they said, well, we'll talk about it. So we sent in a delegation and they brought the boys back. And funny thing, some of the officers were there, our officers were there in the background saying, yeah, give them the work, go for it. They were supposed to stop us, you know. Yeah. So we had a lot of good cooperation and spirits working together, and that's what kept us going, I think. We had a lot of faith in one another, mutual trust and agreement. Yeah, what the old mateship thing. You sort of saw it last night at the dinner and at the what I spoke about. Yeah, a very strong bond.